and welcome to another episode of In Just 1 Minute or So. Today we're talking about negotiating like a hostage negotiator. Let's jump in. Have you ever walked into a difficult conversation armed with facts, logic, and a solid argument, only to realize to watch the discussion go nowhere? Well, most people think negotiation is about persuasion, and it's not. The biggest negotiation mistake is assuming the other person is making decisions logically. They are not, and neither are you. For years, we were taught that people are rational decision makers, present the facts, make a compelling case, and agreement should follow naturally. But in real life, that doesn't work that way. Think about it. People reject good ideas. They hold on to bad positions and make emotional decisions every day. That's because the human brain has two operating systems. One is fast, instinctive, and emotional. The other is slow, deliberate, and logical. The emotional system always gets the first vote. When people feel threatened, judged, pressured, or misunderstood, their logical thinking goes offline. That's why winning an argument often loses the negotiation. The goal isn't to defeat the other person. The goal is to help them feel safe enough to think clearly. And that starts with your voice. Most of the time, your tone should be warm, calm, and collaborative. People naturally lower their defenses around someone who sounds relaxed and approachable. But when tensions rise, or you need to establish boundaries, slow everything down. Speak with certainty. Lower your pace. End your sentences calmly instead of sounding uncertain or defensive. A steady voice communicates confidence without triggering resistance. Now let's look at 3 particular techniques you can use immediately. The first one is mirroring. When someone says something important, repeat the last few words they used. For example, they say, "We are concerned about the timeline." Then you respond, "The timeline?" Then stop talking. That small pause encourages the other person to continue speaking and often reveals valuable information. The second technique is labeling. Instead of arguing with emotions, acknowledge them. Try phrases like, "It seems like you're frustrated," or "It sounds like you're worried about the risk." When people feel understood, their emotional intensity decreases and productive conversation becomes possible. The third technique is using calibrated questions. Now, avoid questions that can be answered with a simple yes or no. Instead, ask questions that begin with what or how. For instance, instead of saying, "Can you lower the price?" ask, "How can we make this work within our budget?" And when someone makes an unreasonable demand, try this powerful question: "How am I supposed to do that?" It's respectful, non-confrontational, and shifts the problem-solving burden back to them. One final principle. People are more motivated to avoid losses than they are to pursue gains. So when discussing solutions, don't focus only on what they'll gain. Help them understand what the risk of losing is, if they don't want to move forward, of course. At its core, negotiation isn't a battle. It's collaboration under pressure. So slow down, listen carefully, pay attention to emotions, not just words, because the moment people feel understood, they become far more willing to understand you. And that's when real negotiation begins. All right, and that's all for today. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you in the next episode.